Welcome to Authentic Storytelling. I'm Linda Joy, storytelling guide, best-selling publisher at Inspired Living Publishing, and the publisher of the beloved Aspire magazine. And in this series, I am so excited to bring you women who not only share their story in my most recent book, Divine Synchronicities, but have discovered that through the power of storytelling, we have the opportunity to shift our inner story so we can craft a new one that supports us in living our most aligned and best life. So joining me today is Nancy O'Keefe. Nancy is a certified quantum human design specialist, intuitive business coach, and compassionate transformer who helps women entrepreneurs peel back the layers of who they've been taught to be and how they have been conditioned to do business so they can live their inner truth, which is really what the series is about, right? And build an abundant and sustainable business that feeds their soul. You can learn more at Nancy O'Keefe Coaching, but all the show notes are down below, so check them out. And as I do with every storytelling conversation, I like to open with an inspirational quote from my guest story. And Nancy's story is called Undeniable Evidence. And her quote, cultivate your connection, be open to it, and always be grateful for the magic it brings into your life. Welcome, Nancy.
Hi, Linda. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. In your story, Undeniable Evidence, what would you say is the key theme or life lesson woven throughout your story?
It's really about trust.
Mm.
And it's about trusting on a lot of levels, but the most important area of trust is to trust yourself. I've been intuitive all of my life. I knew at a very young age that I could see and hear and even smell things from the other side. And I got a very clear message. And it was so profound in the way it was delivered to me through a vision that I couldn't ignore it. And, if I was at work and if I got up from work and said, hey, I got to go home, I just got this vision, people would have said, no, what are you, crazy? But it was so profound. I pushed against it, and finally I gave in and I said, I got to go. And, that was a defining moment in my intuitive life, because it was like a 2x4 over my head. You got to trust these messages. And sometimes it's hard for us to know that we're getting these messages, because they might come as a vision. They might come as one word. They might come as a knowing, a feeling. They can come in a variety of voice, can come in a variety of forms. But really what I wanted to say in this story is that whatever form it comes in, trust it. However ridiculous it may seem, and for those of you that read my story, you will know why I use the word ridiculous. Just trust it, because there's so much out there. You're so supported in the universe, and they want you to be, successful and helpful and abundant and all of that. And they give you help, guideposts, signposts, messages all along the way, and just trust them.
I love that. And what's funny, in all these conversations I've been having, trust, courage, alignment has been a theme. Even though every woman's story is different, their experience is different. It's almost like each woman's story was about self-trust, and as well as trusting that they're always divinely supportive.
Right.
So I'm not surprised that this one, and I know Nancy's story, and many of you do if you've read the book. If not, the link's down below for Divine Synchronicity, Women's Stories of Magic, Miracles, and Manifesting. And a lot of what you said resonated with me on my own journey. I used to think that what I was hearing or receiving, like the birth of Aspire, it came from a dream. I didn't want to start a magazine. It was just a dream that kept coming, but I didn't understand, Nancy, at that time. That was a message. I was being guided, and I kept going, what's a stupid magazine that keeps waking me up in the middle of the night? I was really so mad for 3 months because I didn't have that that connection, that dance. I didn't even understand what that was. And now, from beautiful souls like you and my own journey, I realize we all have that connection. We just have to learn to trust it, as you said.
Mhm.
And I think that the self-trust theme too, because if we can't trust in ourselves, it is a little harder to trust in something outside of us. What would you say to that?
I would agree, because it's, it's nebulous. It's not tangible. It's very difficult. But one of the things that I've learned is that if you get something and you're not sure, ask for evidence.
Ooh.
Ask for evidence. They will give you evidence.
So use
I
an
got
example, like if we get an insight to go right instead of left or something, and we're not sure and we're doubting ourselves, just say, I need another sign. I need evidence.
right. Please give me evidence. I got a download one time and I wasn't sure about it. And I asked them, please, I need more. Give me evidence. And I got the word pressure cooker. I had an old pressure cooker that was my grandmother's, and it was on the counter in my kitchen for weeks. Part of me wanted to just throw it out. Part of me couldn't part with it. And it was on my mind, and small thing, but weighing heavy. And they gave me that, and it was top of mind for me. And I was like, okay, that's all the evidence I needed. And it had nothing to do with the download, but it was their way of letting me know, it's us. We're here. We know what's going on in your life. Trust us.
Yeah. And you know what I've discovered I've been on this journey, I think 33 years now. The more we trust, the more signs and synchronicities happen. And so it's almost like I was building my trust muscles. And I'm curious if it's like that. Like it wasn't some overnight thing where suddenly I'm going to trust in the divine. I'm going to trust signs. I had to keep taking those little steps like you did
Yeah.
and ask. And then after a while, it's like, I'm in complete trust now. But I just want to share with everyone, you might feel like, oh, I thought I was in trust, but now I'm sliding back again. That's completely normal.
Right.
Do you
Right.
find that too, Nancy?
I do. And the other piece of it is we live in a very fast moving world, and you've got to train yourself to slow down, because some of those messages can slide right by. You don't even notice them. Especially you manifesting generators, if you know your human design, you guys are moving so fast that sometimes they whiz by, you don't even catch them. So we've got to be mindful. We've got to slow down. We've got to be really in tune with ourselves and stop and take breaks and kind of, check in with yourself. That's, I think, really important, especially in this fast-paced world.
It really resonates. Like as you were speaking, I'm like, that really resonates with my truth and journey. I was 100 miles an hour in my up to probably 35 years old, like in an imbalanced way, ladies, not in a fun way. Just, pushing, chasing, striving 14-hour days. And looking back, Nancy, I see it was me getting hit with a cosmic 2x4, which you don't want to wait for the cosmic 2x4 to
No.
start listening. I was a slow learner, but as I learned to slow down, it did. That's when everything opened up for me. And going from that fast pace to learning to slow, yes, it was a journey. It wasn't overnight, but I credit that being energy with opening me up to so many blessings in my life, but also my ability to feel present and connected to my source.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, if you use source, divine, God, whatever your source of love is, just replace it when we're saying words, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your source of love is, that's your connection. And
And
you want
the
to
other important piece of it is to be grateful. Anytime I have a connection, or I get a download, or I ask for clarity or ask for help, I always say thank you, because I think they want to know you're appreciative. And the more that you do that, you get even more downloads. It's a way of opening it up. So
I
that's an important
agree.
piece.
I agree. Even if I find a penny, I go, thank you. A feather,
Mhm.
a C111, I go, thank you, see you. It's like
Mhm.
now it's a fun,
It is.
it's fun. Like Tyler will hear me. I'll see 222 on the stove. I go, thank you. He goes, for what? Like
Oh,
Tyler's my grandson. So I'm like, I'm just letting them know. I see them all the time. I see the signs. So I think that's beautiful. We're going to go to our second question, and that is, how did writing your soul story, and I've published you numerous times, but how did writing your soul story in divine synchronicity heal, empower, or inspire you in some way on your own personal self-discovery journey?
Well, I think that the most powerful thing for me was kind of remembering all this. You get to the point where you do it so naturally every day that you don't even think about it. And as I was, recalling the story to write it, I felt, a renewed sense of my connection, and also um, happy and proud of my intuition. And I thought a lot about how I've weaved it into my work, um, even with people that aren't necessarily in tune with that, and might use words like woo woo and things. But I was in a client's office one day, and I had to get into a piece of my software that was on the cloud. I didn't have my password with me. So I sat down at her computer and I closed my eyes and I asked for help. And I got the password downloaded to me, and I opened my eyes and I typed it in, and she noticed that. And she said to me, "Oh, did you just check in?" She's very spiritual anyway, and I said, "Yes, but, um, you know, if you really are in tune with it, you get to the point where it's just a natural part of how you think and make decisions and do things." And I had kind of forgotten that. So going through this writing process reminded me of a lot of things and made me feel really confident, even more confident in my intuition. And, it was just a nice reminder for myself of how important a piece of this is in my life, my coaching, my life in general.
Oh yeah, because I've known you for quite a while, and you are very intuitive and spot on, and it's how you guide your life, your business, etc. And I feel that same way too is regarding my intuition is now just it's just like my hair. It's a part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine navigating my life, and I make a lot of my decisions in business and life just based on trust, even when I may not know the path ahead.
Mm-hmm.
It's a knowing that this is my next right step, whatever that may be, and trusting that I'll be guided with the next piece of information to show
Right.
me the next step. Where the old me, the younger, disconnected version of myself would almost say to, I wouldn't even say divine Nancy, because at that time I didn't have that language, but I'd go, oh, I'm not making that step until I have the complete map, A through Z, with the complete steps and timelines.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd stay frozen in my own life, which was a control and fear thing. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
like, show me the next step. And it's fun. It feels peaceful. It feels aligned. And I know that's true for you too, from a
Yeah,
conversation.
the peaceful, that's a great word, and less fear. I don't worry about things like I used to before I was really connected. Um, I really don't, because I know everything is going to turn out the way it was meant to turn out. Not that we don't have free will and choices, we do. But, you can take the hard path or you can take the easy path. That's up to you. But um, I have certainly taken the hard path in a few instances in my life where I didn't want to listen. And, I thought I knew better. And was always a little bit of a rebellious spirit.
Me too.
Um, and, it took me quite a lot of my life to learn that, you know, that's just the guidance is there, use it.
Yeah, and I think everyone watching right now can relate to that feeling of, I'm going to do it my way,
Yeah,
even though there's an easier way. And the sense of trust and peace I have now, even when life is chaotic personally and in the world, I think it's a gift that we have that connection. And ladies, I want to reiterate, we all have that connection.
absolutely.
You just got to clear the muck, blocking up the frequency.
Yeah.
And in your story, undeniable evidence, you know, you could have ignored that intuitive hit, which you talked about earlier, right? For all of us, you get something like turn right, or don't go here, or go here on this day. And then the small voice within goes, what are you, nuts? This is the route you've always taken. Don't change it. Like, we have that self-conversation. And in your story, you received something that was very unique vision. And you could have said, I can't do this. I can't leave the office. I can't. But
And
some,
I did say that at first,
Yeah.
but then it was so profound and it was so clear. I couldn't, I don't want to spoil the story, but it involved my child, and I couldn't ignore it. I had to go. And
here's what I want to say too. It was something so unique, and ladies, you got to read the story, that it isn't something that you'd go, oh my God, what is this? And then when you walked in the house and there was the experience, you were like, are you kidding me? And I could see why that experience in the story would really cement for you to never doubt it again. Because when I read your story, I was like, I will never doubt again.
mm,
Because in that moment, if you had doubted it, you wouldn't have been there.
mm, mm,
That's powerful. That's powerful.
exactly. Yeah.
And so we're going to go to our next question. So as we come to a close, what's a piece of wisdom, sacred reminder, or any lesson that you hope women take away from your personal story?
I would say the biggest thing is to know that you're supported, and whatever you do, even if you're going against what you think you should do or what have you, you're always going to be supported. And the other thing is, listen to yourself. That's the big thing. I find people have a lot of trouble listening to themselves. I always talk about The Price is Right. If anybody knows that show, people get up on the stage and they're playing the pricing game, and the first thing they do is turn to a group of people in the audience they don't know for the answer. Well, you have all the answers inside you, and if you are missing one, just ask for help and you'll get it. We tend to look everywhere else for the answers first. Not that there's anything wrong with seeking an opinion from someone else, there isn't. But if you run your life in a way that you let everybody else make your decisions for you, you're really making a mistake. So listen to yourself. Listen to your body. It isn't all in your head either. Listen to your body. What are you feeling when you walk into a room? Do you get a wave of nausea? Well, there's something up there. So that to me is the most important takeaway, is that listen to yourself. Without the listening, there can't be trust because you don't get the messages. So the first step is to be aware, and that takes listening.
Yeah, and I think too is, for me being, I always say I'm a recovering control freak, and believe me, my honey of 30 years will remind me if I fall off the recovery wagon. And what I've discovered in the trusting and listening circles back to our whole conversation that you brought up, is my sense of trust in myself. And I'm 63, is stronger than it's ever been, because I've been honing the relationship, the connection, the listening. And you shared so much wisdom, especially the part about asking for support, asking for evidence. I think, especially as women, we're so used to doing it all. I got this. I got this. And no, and the divine's up there going, girl, why are you making it so much harder than it has to be?
Exactly.
Yeah, mine probably used to take temper tantrums up there going like, here she goes again, trying to force her way through life. So thank you, Nancy. There's so much wisdom and beauty in your story, and so many sacred reminders that, one, we all have this connection. Two, it's a journey to learning to trust, but it's so much better than if you feel disconnected from your own life.
Right.
Ladies, if you're feeling disconnected from your own life, feeling like a victim in your own life, feeling like joy, hope, possibility is way out there someday and maybe you'll find it, it's right here.
Or
Yeah.
fear of the unknown. There's a lot of fear right now. A lot is changing in our world, and a lot of people are fearful. That's a great tool to use to calm yourself down, is to just ask for reassurance, ask for guidance, ask for evidence. Ask and you shall receive, as they say. It's true.
I love that. It's a beautiful way to close our call, my friends. Ask and you shall receive. Nancy, thank you so much, as always, for joining me and for sharing your wisdom and insights. here, as well as in the book, Divine Synchronicity, Women's Stories of Magic, Miracles, and Manifesting. All Nancy's details are down below in the show notes, and you can learn more at nancyokeefecoaching.com.
Thank you, Linda. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome. Blessings, everyone.